Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We got a lot to get to today, and you can listen to us in a variety of ways. We're on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial, and you can watch the show as well. Super Talk TV, we are officially up and running. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Why would you want to watch a radio show on your TV? Well, I mean, for starters, you can get the YouTube app on your TV and put us in the big screen. And then secondly, you can join the YouTube chat and join in with some of the most red-pilled Nashvillians that you'll find anywhere and join the conversation that way. And also, for every piece of audio that you hear on your radio, we also have the video to accompany it on the stream. So just a little added bonus, and we do that thanks to my talented producer, Mason Fleming. We have Jay Harper in the newsroom, and the Democrats have a bit of an issue. I know. We've had weeks now of the Democrats just wringing their hands on the cost of living. Oh, the prices are up. What are we going to do about the middle class? We've heard them saying that the tariffs would cause inflation. It hasn't yet. We heard them say that stores are going to raise prices. They haven't yet. We've heard them say that egg prices are soaring. They're down 61%. Over and over and over again, though, we've heard the Democrat propaganda machine scream at us about how expensive things are because of Donald Trump and how bad the economy is. And even with all of that propaganda that they have been throwing at their voters, their base, Republicans have officially unseated Democrats as the party of the middle class, according to this new polling data from CNN, which is eye-opening. And I love these polls because it always makes the host over at CNN just her skin crawls whenever Harry Enton reveals the numbers over on CNN.
When after the last few months, the first 5 months of the Donald Trump presidency, right, the first 4 months of the Donald Trump presidency, that you expect that Democrats would have this massive lead on the economy. It ain't so. It ain't so. The party that is closest to your economic views, in November of 2023, it was the Republicans by 11 points. Now it's still within that range, still within that margin of error, plus 8-point advantage for the Republican Party. How is that possible, Democrats?
How is that possible, Democrats? How? I mean, you've beaten us over the head nonstop with the propaganda. How is this possible?
How is that possible after all the recession fears, after the stock market's been doing all of this, after all the tariffs that Americans are against, and Republicans still hold an 8-point lead on the economy? Are you kidding me?
No, that's the reality. Actually, Republicans are still trusted with the economy more than the Democrats. Well, and I think maybe it's a bit of recency bias because we all remember what happened to the 4 years of Joe Biden. We also remember what happened under the 4 years of Donald Trump. It's pretty easy to figure out why the numbers look this way. Over at CNN, they're having a hard time wrapping their head around it.
If it was just this one CNN poll, that would be one thing. But take a look at Reuters Ipsos. What do we see here? Party with a better economic plan. Well, in May of 2024, just before Donald Trump was reelected president, Republicans had a 9-point advantage. Look at where we are now in May of 2025. The advantage actually went up by 3 points. Now,
so it's getting better, even amid the tariffs, even amid the stock market, even amid the recession fears. We're still getting stronger. Okay. I'm here for it.
Republicans have a 12-point advantage when it comes to the party with a better economic plan. And again, this is after months of supposed economic uncertainty in which the stock market's been going bonkers, in which the tariff wars that Americans are against have been going on. And yet, despite all of that, the Democrats are down by 12 points on the economy. This speaks to Democratic problems on the economy better than basically anything that you could possibly look at. The Republicans still hold an advantage on the all-important key issue of the day, which...
So I would just say, he says, after months of the economic fears, after months of the uncertainty, and I would say, no, it's after months of just force-fed propaganda to the American people, right? It's after months of you telling us that there would be a recession. It's after months of you telling us that there'd be empty shelves because of tariffs. It's after months of that. That's why you guys are still so absolutely shocked with these numbers. But you shouldn't be. Because, yeah, we've had months of the American mainstream media and the propaganda wing of the Democrat Party telling us that things are only going to get worse. But we've we've had 4 years of them telling us it was great when we knew it was awful. So I just think that they have lost so much of their clout, even more so than we thought that they had already lost. They just continue to lose that credibility. This is another example of it. CNN, they're just stunned.
Which is the party of the middle class, has been a huge advantage for Democrats. I have polling from NBC going all the way back since 1989, when Democrats had a 23-point advantage. 2016, a 17-point advantage. But by this decade, we already started seeing declines back in 2022, where you saw that Democrats led, but only by 4 points, well within the margin of error. And now in our latest CNN poll among registered voters, which is the party of the middle class, it is tied.
Yeah, it's tied now. I know. You see, the thing is that you can see the ground being gained by the Republicans. 1989, party of the middle class, Dems had a 23-point lead. 2016, 17-point lead. 2022, 4-point lead. Now, tied. Well, what happened after 1989? Well, that's after 1989, we had the 90s, then we had NAFTA, then we had all of our manufacturing go overseas. The middle class was absolutely gutted. How could the Republicans become the party of the middle class? Well, because you took the middle class's jobs and you sent them overseas. Donald Trump is now saying that he's going to bring those jobs back, and he's doing a damn good job at it, might I say. And the American people are responding to that, to those actions of the president. They're responding to the inaction of the previous Democratic leadership. I would say president, but really it was the regime. And everybody trusts Trump more than they trust the Democrats.
This, I think, speaks to Democratic ills more than anything else. They have traditionally been the party of the middle class. No more. Donald Trump and the Republican Party have taken that mantle away, and now a key advantage for Democrats historically has gone adios amigos, and now there is no party that is the party of the middle class. Republicans have completely closed the gap.
I mean, they're screwed. Let's be honest. We're making so much inroads in so many different voter groups that even if, and I know a lot of people say come the midterms, it's going to be about the economy. Even if the economy just kind of stays where it's at and doesn't get any better than it is right now, I think we clean up in the midterms. I think we absolutely clean up. And stuff like this. It's seeing that the middle class is now looking at the Republican Party going, I'm going to stick with these guys. Also, what we saw in the election, where we saw Donald Trump making inroads with black voters, Hispanic voters, female voters, over and over, young voters, the youth vote. The Democrats have a real issue right now, a massive, massive issue. And I don't think that they have the self-awareness to be able to fix it. I think that what they really are going to do is continue to say, orange man bad, and that the big, beautiful bill is going to harm all Americans. And it's more spending than I want, full disclosure, but we don't know what it's going to look like at the end. And I'm still waiting for those DOJ rescission bills to come and be voted on. But, you know, listen, the Democrats are just screaming that this big, beautiful bill is bad for our families. And I hate to break it to you, but the Democrats are going to have an uphill battle when that's their argument, because they've been saying all of this kind of same style rhetoric about Donald Trump and anything he does for the past, what is it, like 10 years now? This is Senator Jack Reed, and he was talking about the big, beautiful bill, and he thinks that the tax cuts that Donald Trump wants to bring to the American people are actually going to be bad for our country and bad for our families.
We have to stop this. And again, I think Chuck is right on target. We have to connect with, rally people everywhere, and just have them stand up and say, this is bad for our country, bad for our families, bad for everyone. No,
it's bad. It's bad for everyone. I mean, that would hold more weight if we didn't know that you guys lied to us all the time. You know what I mean? Maybe I would actually take that a little bit more seriously if the Democrats weren't known for just gaslighting the American public. I'm sorry. I understand that the spending is a bit more than many people want, myself included, but tax cuts are not going to be bad for our middle class families. They're not. They're not. Hakeem Jeffries took it a step further yesterday, and he said, if the big, beautiful bill gets signed into law, well, you're going to see hospitals shut down and nursing homes are going to be closing and yada, 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 yada. More fear propaganda from the Democrats.
Trump's one big, ugly bill narrowly escaped the House of Representatives, and we're going to continue to press our case across the country partner with Senate Democrats in making clear to the American people the type of damage that this bill would do if it ever became law. This bill actually hurts everyday Americans in order to reward billionaires. It would strip away health care from approximately 14 million Americans, premiums, co-pays, and deductibles.
Yeah, but can those Americans work? Are those Americans Americans? I mean, these are questions that we have to ask. If you're an able-bodied American, yeah, you shouldn't be on government programs. Sorry. It's like goes back to with all of the Anthony Oliver songs. Was it Anthony Oliver or Oliver Anthony? I think it was Oliver Anthony. Rich Men North of Richmond. It's like my tax dollars shouldn't be, if you're 500 pounds, my tax dollars shouldn't be paying for your bag of fudge rounds. Like, yeah. And we shouldn't be paying for your diabetes medication either. Honestly, like, just get it together. We shouldn't be subsidizing you. We shouldn't. If you can do it on your own, you should be doing it on your own.
For tens of millions more will go up. Actually, if it ever were to be implemented into law, hospitals will close, nursing homes will shut down, and people will literally die.
People will literally die if the big, beautiful bill passes. Literally. These are the same people who are saying that Doge coming in and doing, what we saw them do, which wasn't as much as we wanted them to do. They're now saying that Elon Musk's legacy is going to be death, hundreds of thousands of deaths because of Doge. This is just the same fear propaganda that failed in the previous election, and I think is going to fail in the midterms. But they don't have another strategy. Fear is how they manipulate the American people. They're going to stick with it. That's their go-to. Donald Trump still pushing the big, beautiful bill. Yesterday posting this on Truth Social, saying, passing the one big, beautiful bill to turn our country around after 4 disastrous years under Joe Biden, we will take a massive step to balancing our budget by enacting the largest mandatory spending cut ever. And Americans will get to keep more of their money with the largest tax cut ever. And no longer taxing tips, overtime, or Social Security for seniors, something 80 million voters supported in November. It will unleash American energy by expediting permitting for energy and refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, that reserve that Biden drained. And I don't mean to stop here, but I'm getting squirreled. Not only did he drain the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, but he left the containers empty and they caved in on themselves. So it's not just refilling it, it's rebuilding completely some of them. Sorry, and I don't mean to get off, but back to Trump and his statement on the big, beautiful bill. It will make American air travel great again by purchasing the final air traffic control system. We will secure our skies from our adversaries by building the Golden Dome and secure our border by building more of our wall and supercharging the deportation of the millions of criminal illegals Joe Biden allowed to walk right into our country or allowed them to stay, like that terrorist in Boulder, Colorado. And he says it will kick millions of illegals off Medicaid and make sure SNAP is focused on Americans only. It will also restore choice and affordability for car purchases by repealing Biden's EV mandate and all of the green new scam tax credits and spending. The one big, beautiful bill also protects our beautiful children by stopping funding for sick sex changes for minors. With the Senate coming back to Washington today, I call on all of my Republican friends in the Senate and House to work as fast as they can to get this bill to my desk before the 4th of July. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Do you think it's going to be done by the 4th of July? We're on Trump time, right? That's what they tell us. We're on Trump time. Maybe it will be. Maybe it won't. But we'll see what happens. Again, the bill as it stands now is not how it's going to look once it's voted on. It's just not. And we could go into the details that we have currently, but it's like all that stuff's going to change. It's going to change 100 times between now and when this big, beautiful bill is on Donald Trump's desk. But he says on True Social, Donald Trump, so many false statements are being made about the one big, beautiful bill. But what nobody understands is that it's the single biggest spending cut in history by far. But there will be no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. In fact, they will be saved from the incompetence of the Democrats. The Democrats, who have totally lost their confidence and their way, are saying whatever comes to mind, anything to win. They suffered the greatest humiliation in the history of politics, and they're desperate to get back on their game, but they won't be able to do that because their policies are so bad. In fact, they would lead to the destruction of our country and almost did. The only cutting we will do is for waste, fraud, and abuse, something that should have been done by the incompetent radical left Democrats for the last 4 years, but wasn't. That's Donald Trump on the big, beautiful bill. We have more people weighing in, including the White House Office of Management and Budget Director, Russ Vought. He was fact-checking CNN in real time over the weekend. Plus, we got some audio from Scott Bessent on the way. And then we're going to dive into Biden's health. There's officially been an investigation opened up into the pardons and commutations from Joe Biden due to the auto pen. All that and more on the way. 921 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
New attacks in Ukraine. And here in Tennessee, an officer-involved shooting in Columbia this morning. We'll have those stories at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com, Mason Fleming, and our friend Louie producing in the back. Jay Harper in the newsroom. You guys on the phone lines and the text line, 615-737-9986. You can also jump in the chat over on the YouTube page. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it when you do. So the Democrats are just doing their fear-mongering thing. Everything's going to be terrible if the big, beautiful bill passes. Hospitals are going to be closed. You're gonna lose your insurance. Nursing homes are going to be shut down. People are going to lose Medicaid. This is what we hear over and over and over. And it's just more of the same from the Democrat Party. More of the fear propaganda, more of the gaslighting, more of the BS, and the American people see right through it. We played a clip a little while ago, Harry Enton over on CNN, and they talk about how the Democrat Party is no longer the party of the middle class. In fact, according to some CNN polling, we are now tied, conservatives are, Republicans, with the Democrats as the party of the middle class, and I think that that's only going to continue going in our favor. There was some other polling out, too, that was pretty wild, but makes a lot of sense when you start to think about it. This is a Silver Bulletin cooperative election study poll. And what they did was they wanted to look into the mental health of the voters of specific parties. So it was self-reported mental health based on political ideology. Those who had excellent mental health, conservatives at 51%, liberals came in only at 20%. Poor mental health. Liberals came in at 45%. Conservatives came in at 19%. Yeah, it adds up for sure. And the Democrats are attacking that weakness in their own party with the fear propaganda, going after those mentally weak, susceptible Democrat voters. It's sad. It's sad. They lie and they gaslight. And one of the other things they said is that we're going to lose money on cancer research funding. And they said this over the weekend. Oh, the big, beautiful bill, we're going to lose all this money on research funding for cancer. And it's like, okay, are we really? CNN asked the Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought this over the weekend, and he pushed back.
We believe that we need a strong NIH. We think it's important to have cancer research. We still do that under the president's budget that he put up 2-3 weeks ago, not last night. Last night, Friday night, was the technical details. But as it pertains to the NIH, we actually want it to go to cancer research. We want it to go to the research that people think that they have been funding through their tax dollars. We don't want it to go to what we saw in the pandemic when they're giving money to the EcoHealth Alliance. And we don't want it to go to waste, fraud, and abuse by allowing universities to charge far more than they would ever get from Bill Gates' foundation for things like office buildings, parking lots. It's called an indirect cost rate. Mm-hmm.
So again, they're just highlighting the fear propaganda that gets used by the Democrats. He said, listen, we want the dollars to go to the research, but what it's going to right now is like CEO salaries. So they'll hand wring and say, oh, you're cutting all this money. But no, but the money wasn't going to the cause in the first place. Again, it'll just be more gaslighting from the left. On the way, we're going to dive into Biden's health struggles. The president's DOJ is now investigating the use of the auto pen when it came to pardons and commutations. We'll talk about it when we get back. 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, good morning. It is 9:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll have a weather forecast on the way. New attacks in Ukraine after Ukrainian and Russian negotiators met for peace talks just a day after Ukraine's surprise drone attack that struck air bases deep inside Russia. We've got ABC's Martha Raddatz with more.
Ukraine's Operation Spiderweb, kept secret for well over a year, was highly coordinated. The Ukrainians managing to smuggle in an army of explosive-laden drones across Russia and hide them in massive containers on trucks. The containers with retractable roofs. The Ukrainians saying some 40 Russian warplanes, including nuclear-capable bombers, set on fire. Destroyed.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, a man was injured when he was shot by an officer while walking on Nashville Highway in Columbia early this morning. According to a press release, officers were called to the area after receiving a report of a suspicious male walking in the roadway and attempting to approach passing vehicles. Officers arrived and found the man in the road, and he had a gun. They reportedly tried to make him stop and implored him to drop his weapon for over 10 minutes. But then Columbia police stated the man continued to walk on the highway southbound, and according to the release, the man was shot by a Columbia officer to, quote, stop the advancement and threat, unquote. The shooting victim was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he was taken into surgery. His identity and condition not immediately released. No officers were injured in the incident. Let's take a look at your stocks here this morning. The Dow is down 23, but the S&P is up 7 1/4, and the NASDAQ, it's up 81 3/4. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. And if you're tired of sky-high health insurance costs, you need to talk to Shane. Cover Nash is a brand new option for you that is absolutely going to change the game. There's a new plan on the market that's going to bring your deductible down to just $250. You heard me right. Not $5,000, not $8,000. Your deductible will only be $250. And the best part is you don't have to wait for open enrollment. That's one of the biggest common misconceptions about health insurance. Oh, I got to wait till open enrollment. You don't. You can call Shane today and start saving money right now. Shane's been doing this for over 20 years. He's going to shop the entire market for you, 75 different companies to find the best fit for your budget and your health needs. So whether you're self-employed, between jobs, or just overpaying for coverage, Shane can easily save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. So stop overpaying and call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Affordable, quality coverage managed by you, not the government. CoverNash.com. 938 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Jay Harper's in the newsroom. Mason Fleming is producing. And I don't know. I might be spending too much time on the internet. I feel like I'm spending too much time on the internet. Do you think that's possible?
I could definitely see that. You admitted yesterday how much you peruse Twitter in your nighttime.
It's awful. It's awful. So, are you on True Social? No, I made you get on Twitter. You're definitely
I'm definitely not on.
So there's a big hoopla about a Donald Trump post on Truth Social.
Oh.
So what he did was he posted a link to another post.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. It's just a link, no context.
That's always good.
I know. When you click through that link, the post says that Joe Biden was executed in 2022 and was replaced with a clone.
Oh.
So, like, everybody's losing their mind. This is a very QAnon thing.
Yeah, for sure.
There were military tribunals. Politicians were executed at Gitmo and all this. So Trump posts that. People lose their mind. Lose their mind. I think he's trolling. I do. I think he's trolling, obviously. But then senior advisor Jason Miller posted, I think this was on Twitter yesterday, that Joe Biden was replaced with a clone. No additional context.
I
think they're trolling.
They have to be.
I think they're trolling. And I think one of the reasons that they're trolling is because maybe they know a little bit more about the mental decline of Joe Biden than we do. Maybe the decline really kicked in 2022, like just balls to the wall, you know?
Maybe the degradation of the clone started taking place faster than they thought, and so it's like, okay, we gotta. Whoa!
You want me to go conspiracy theory on top of conspiracy theory here, and go a little conspiracy theory inception?
Welcome to the Chris Hand Show.
Welcome to the Chris Hand Show, conspiracy theory inception. Okay, let's say that Joe Biden was replaced with a clone. Let's say he was. You're telling me that's the clone they replaced him with?
That's your top-notch go-to?
If you're going to replace him with a clone, can you get me one that can walk up the stairs? If you're going to replace Joe Biden with a clone, can you get me one that doesn't shake hands with dead people?
Give me one that can walk in a straight line.
Can you get me one that doesn't hop out of the shower naked and pull the dog's tail? Can you do that for me? I know these are big asks. I know they are. But
come on.
Listen, the internet's been going nuts. Nuts. They're like, we knew it. We knew it. Joe Biden's a clone.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you hadn't heard of this yet.
I hadn't. That's weird. Yeah. Normally it hits my Instagram by now.
I bet you the YouTube chat's going bananas.
Oh, probably.
Probably
they hear conspiracy go,
Yeah,
what?
so conspiracy on top of conspiracy. I love clones. And I think that they could probably make a better one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like,
they're making direwolves now.
let's be honest.
Step up your game.
If the clone thing was real, they'd be able to make a better one.
They'd do better.
I feel like they would. Or maybe that's what they'd want us to think.
Are they hiding the potency of their actual clone?
Hey, all right, hit the music one more time. We're back in it. They knew that they needed a not-so-good clone.
We have to put them in a bad place because then we could raise Kamala up instead.
8949 said that would be too obvious. 8519, they haven't perfected the robot technology yet. But they would have been able to perfect the chin. Remember the chin when he had the little chin divots? Like, maybe they can't perfect the brain cloning. But chins, I feel like they'd be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Especially with plastic surgery these days. You can make them as large as you need to.
Yeah, have you've seen the Tesla robots? No problem walking upstairs. I've never seen them encounter an issue with stairs.
But presidential clones? We got an issue here.
Yeah. Larry said, sadly, Biden's clone was powered by a Dollar General generic battery. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they just needed to charge him to get him. It's funny because we're still waiting for him to be charged for something. Anyway,
walking around with battery on his back.
Anyway,
on his hands.
that's what the internet's been talking about. More mainstream is that the Trump administration is opening an investigation into the aging Biden's final days in office and the prolific use of the auto pen. Daily Mail has a story. A couple other outlets are reporting this as well. Reuters is reporting it. Pardon attorney Ed Martin reportedly wrote the investigation involves whether Biden was competent and whether others were taking advantage of him through use of auto pen or other means. I would imagine that everybody knew Joe wasn't all there, right? Like everybody knew. Well, except maybe not this guy.
Speaking of aging, there's this book that came out that talks about Joe Biden and the people around him seeing that he had cognitive and physical decline. Did you ever have a moment with him where you thought maybe he was unfit to run for president? No.
I thought he was a good president.
Okay. Thanks, Bill. Thanks. Nailed it. Why do they still wheel Bill Clinton out? And I said this during the presidential campaign as well. They put Bill on stage to do a speech and be like, he was raping minors on Epstein Island, right? Like it's pretty well documented in the lawsuits with Virginia Giuffre. It's pretty well documented that he was on the Lolita Express. Like we're still rolling out Bill Clinton, and he's still defending Joe Biden. Got it. Nice. That's Slick Willie for you. But the Donald Trump administration has opened an investigation into whether or not Joe Biden was competent. It's going to be the shortest investigation in history. Whether or not he was competent, it's pretty easy. But they want to know whether the auto pen was used to issue lame duck pardons to family members and death row inmates. Ed Martin, Trump's ultra MAGA pardon attorney, said the Justice Department has been directed to investigate clemency granted by Biden in the waning days of his presidency, including the December pardon of his troubled son, Hunter. Martin's unprecedented probe was revealed Monday in an email to staffers that was obtained by Reuters. The attorney said that the investigation involves whether Biden was competent and whether others were taking advantage of him through the use of AutoPen or other means. AutoPen, you know what it is. It's the device that automatically would use Joe Biden's signature. Hunter Biden was convicted last year of 3 felonies over an illegal gun, and former First Lady Joe Biden have been accused of wielding significant power over the president in his final days. The prodigal son was treated like a chief of staff despite being provably, demonstrably unethical, sleazy, and prone to horrible decisions. That's a quote from CNN's own Jake Tapper. That's not mine. I wouldn't have been as kind. Trump and his supporters have made a variety of claims that Biden's use of AutoPen invalidated his actions because he was unaware of the orders he was signing. It is not known whether Biden's used an AutoPen for pardons. In March, Trump declared his predecessor's last-minute pardons void, vacant, and of no further force or effect. He also warned that members of the House committee investigating the January 6th committee could now face prosecution. The email stated that Martin's investigation is focused on the preemptive pardons Biden issued to several members of his family and clemency that spared 37 federal inmates from the death penalty, converting their sentences to life in prison. Just before relinquishing his presidency to Trump on January 20th, Biden pardoned 5 members of his family, saying that he wanted to protect them from future politically motivated investigations. So the pardons were for, James Biden, Frank Biden, Valerie Biden, Owens, as well as their spouses, John Owens and Sarah Biden. Biden on December 1st pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, who had pleaded guilty to tax violations, was convicted on firearms-related charges. So that's where we're at. Martin's email did not specify which of the Biden family member pardons were being investigated. I can only assume Hunter and their brother James are going to be right at the top of the list. That just makes the most sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I would imagine that they're starting on Hunter and James. Trump himself has made extensive use of executive clemency. The Daily Mail goes on to talk about Trump using clemency because why not? Why ruin a good Biden article without saying something mean about Trump? But that's where we're at. They're investigating Joe Biden and the use of the AutoPen. There's a watchdog group that has been investigating this as well, and their review of Biden's AutoPen use finds criminal evidence of impersonating the president. This is an exclusive from Breitbart. The head of a pro-American energy watchdog group says his investigation into several of former President Joe Biden's climate-related executive actions uncovered criminal and evil evidence that members of the White House acted without presidential authorization while he was in mental decline. Energy expert Daniel Turner, founder of Power the Future, the nonprofit that released a damning report last week revealing that at least eight major actions taken by President Biden were allegedly signed via AutoPen. he was on the latest episode of Breitbart News, and they were talking about this. And while Power the Future's review covered actions related to climate and energy, including the January 6th offshore drilling ban and March 2023 Arctic drilling ban, a March 2025 report from the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project found that every document we could find with Biden's signature over the course of his presidency, besides the one announcing the end of his reelection campaign, had the same auto pen signature. This is we're going to see this. We're going to see a lot more from this. This is not going away. And Ronnie Jackson, who he was the doctor for Obama, doctor for Trump, he said, get ready. You're going to see a lot more whistleblowers coming out of the woodwork over the next few weeks when it comes to Biden and his health.
But let me get your take on this, because you're a doctor and have been for so many years. Right after the Robert Hur tapes were released that were obviously showing Joe Biden's performance in real time in those Robert Hur tapes, right after that, the administration, the former administration releases the fact that Joe Biden has prostate cancer, and it's very aggressive. How does prostate cancer go from nothing to really aggressive in just a short few months?
Well, that's a little bit unbelievable as well, Maria. They claim that they diagnosed it on a Friday, that they biopsied it on the same day, got the results back, found out that it was prostate cancer, and then they basically realized that it metastasized all over his body. That's a little unbelievable, if you ask me.
Yeah,
and so I don't think that happened. I think it was a diversion. It was right before the book came out from Jake Tapper and right after the Hur tape. So I think they were trying to create some sympathy for the former president. And, we're going to get to the bottom of this. There's going to be a lot of whistleblowers that are going to come out of the woodwork over the next few months. You wait and see.
A lot of whistleblowers that are going to be coming out of the woodwork in the next few months. Wait and see. We'll be waiting. And as those whistleblowers become apparent, we'll be covering it right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On the way, Operation Patriot in Massachusetts. Have you heard about Operation Patriot? It's a good start. Also, is Stephen Miller pissed off at the deportation progress? We'll talk about all that and more. Hang out with us. It's 9:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store, and I am so bummed that I was on vacation last week during the open house. But Mason, you were there. How was the open house?
Dude, it was awesome. We had a huge turnout for everybody that was able to come out and hang out with us there at the Glock store. A lot of great guests, way more than I was expecting. Huge lines by the time I was leaving. I left by like around 4 o'clock and lines were still pumping.
Really?
It was huge.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. I got to meet so many great people.
And they were giving away those custom Glocks.
Dude, that was so cool. I'm a little jealous that I wasn't on the list and wasn't able to get in there. But congrats to the winners. They all came by and said hi. And it was nice to talk with you guys.
You shoot any guns? You take advantage of any of those deals?
I wasn't able to.
Oh, no.
Dude, those lines were packed.
Were they?
Dude, massive.
Man, everybody wants to shoot a fully auto gun, and you can do that at the Glock store. It doesn't have to be the open house. Anytime you want to go down there and set up a training session with any of their great firearm instructors, you can do so. Shoot270.com to book your session. Definitely shoot that APC-9. It is worth everything to shoot that. So much fun. And while you're there, you can always get a custom Glock. You can customize your Glock and get ammo, all the things. Glockstore.com. If you can't make it to the store, you can always shop online. That's Glockstore.com.
Well, steel and aluminum tariffs are just a day away. And we've got news of a scam targeting the elderly. Those stories coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. It is 9:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Our personal favorite is YouTube. The chat is always jumping. Why would you want to watch the show? Well, we have video for all the audio that you hear on the YouTube stream. So hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. We appreciate it when you do so. Operation Patriot. Operation Patriot. That happened, it was announced yesterday in Massachusetts. Deportation operation, rounding up about 1,500 illegal aliens, a major U.S. immigration and customs enforcement operation in the Boston area. The enforcement effort was named Operation Patriot, conducted in coordination with several federal agencies and focused on individuals involved in serious criminal activity. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons was talking about some of the individuals that they apprehended, and I'm just waiting for a Democrat to start crying, tell us they're heartbroken, and defend these monsters.
Brave men and women of ICE, CBP, ATF, DEA, Diplomatic Security Service, and the U.S. Marshals have to go out and pick up some of the most horrible criminals that are roaming free in Massachusetts. These are just some of them. A child sex offender that was previously deported that was released by a local agency but was back living across the street from a playground.
Oh, Democrats will scream that he needs due process, won't they? Oh, he needs due process. He needs due process.
A sex trafficker that was arrested for raping a child.
He's just doing jobs Americans don't want to do, the Democrats will scream.
Was re-released back into the community. A habitual drunk driver who, in the midst of his drunk driving, kidnapped a child.
What, didn't they say that drunk driving shouldn't be a deportable offense? Remember that? I remember that.
Theft from... we had one person that was previously deported that was stealing from disabled senior citizens.
Wow, that's fine, right? These are the kind of individuals that Democrats will trip over themselves to defend. Child sex predators, people scamming senior citizens, habitual drunk drivers, or as the Democrats like to call them, newcomers. Newcomers. That's remember that? They like to call them newcomers. So this Operation Patriot, led by ICE's Boston field office, involved the FBI, CBP, ATF, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the Diplomatic Security Service, and the U.S. Coast Guard. Of those arrested, 790 had criminal convictions or pending charges, either in the United States or their countries of origin. Some were wanted for murder, rape, child exploitation, drug trafficking, you name it, the worst of the worst. They're getting them off the streets. But a lot of us think these deportation numbers are not enough, that we need to do more. We haven't even hit deporter-in-chief Barack Obama levels yet. So we got to get these numbers up, right? Stephen Miller apparently was pretty pissed off at a private meeting with ICE officials at the relative low numbers that we have on deportations. I'll bring you that story. It's from the Washington Examiner. It's fascinating when we get back. Plus, a little bit more on Operation Patriot. And then we'll dive into what happened in Boulder, Colorado, and that terrorist attack that the Democrats are trying to say wasn't a terrorist attack. Yeah, a lot on the way. 10:01, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 1 minute past 10 a.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got a toasty weather forecast coming up, so stand by. We are now less than a day away from higher tariffs from President Trump hitting on steel and aluminum. This comes as the Trump administration is trying to work out trade deals with countries around the world. We hear now from ABC's Rachel Scott.
Senior administration officials say the president is likely to speak with Chinese President Xi at some point this week. It comes as both countries are accusing one another of undermining that temporary trade truce they reached to roll back some of those sweeping tariffs. And of course, tomorrow, the president's still moving forward with these plans to now increase tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, raising them from 25% to 50%.
It is Elder Abuse Awareness Month, and the FBI is urging anyone with an older relative or friend to be on the lookout for scams that target them. ABC's Jim Ryan says a case involving a 92-year-old Florida man who lost his life savings provides a heartbreaking example.
A 92-year-old man involved in a long-distance romance with a woman paid her $800,000. Police say it wasn't a woman, but prison inmate Otis Swinton Jr. Florida State Prosecutor Whitney McKay.
These prisoners are sitting in groups with contraband cell phones, and they're calling our citizens.
Last year, the FBI took 23,000 reports of spoofing and phishing scams involving victims over 60.
That is the latest news. We've got the weather up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. Hope you're having a great day. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube. Jump in the chat, hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. Operation Patriot was announced yesterday. Just about 1,500 illegal aliens taken off the street in the Boston area. Now, the Democrats will tell you that these are just people trying to flee oppression, just individuals looking for a better life with their family, newcomers, dreamers, and we'll look at you and say gang members, murderers, rapists, and child predators. This is Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons announcing who they got off the streets in Operation Patriot.
ICE, CBP, ATF, DEA, Diplomatic Security Service, and the U.S. Marshals have to go out and pick up some of the most horrible criminals that are roaming free in Massachusetts. These are just some of them. A child sex offender that was previously deported that was released by a local agency but was back living across the street from a playground.
Awful.
A sex trafficker that was arrested for raping a child that was re-released back into the community.
Wood chipper.
A habitual drunk driver who, in the midst of his drunk driving, kidnapped a child. Theft from, we had one person that was previously deported that was stealing from disabled senior citizens. Not only that, but they got several convicted murderers, rapists, spouse abusers, child abusers, and drug traffickers.
Or, as the Democrats would say, individuals that just do the jobs that Americans don't want to do. Right? That's what they always say. Now, this Operation Patriot stuff comes off the heel of a story that's been percolating of Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller being an angry little guy, apparently. And I wouldn't want to piss off Stephen Miller. Full disclosure, I'm a huge Stephen Miller fan. But top Trump administration officials are unhappy with arrest and deportation numbers and have lambasted federal immigration officials responsible for the operation, the Washington Examiner has learned. 3 current and former federal immigration officials detailed a recent heated exchange between White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller and dozens of senior U.S. immigration and customs enforcement officials in Washington in late May. At a time when collaboration, this is from Washington Examiner, at a time when collaboration is necessary to undertake President Donald Trump's mass deportation goals, trust has eroded as some high-ranking employees feel they're being closely monitored by the White House over how they are carrying out arrest operations of illegal aliens. They've been threatened, told they're watching their emails and texts and signals, the first official said. That's what is horrible about things right now. It's a fearful environment. Everyone in leadership is afraid. There's no morale. Everybody is demoralized. Now, I just want a little more context there. We understand that there have been officials leaking ICE raid details, right? Like, we know that. So are they monitoring the texts and the emails to make sure that they're not leaking plans? I mean, that seems much more reasonable when you put it in that light. And I would imagine that that's what's going on. Oh, but everybody's demoralized. Get to work. Get to work. Like, we need you guys. We're counting on you guys. And the numbers have been low so far. Great start. Not knocking the start. We need to get those numbers up. Then the Examiner goes on to say a White House official eviscerated everyone. ICE's top 50 field officials were given roughly a week's notice of an emergency meeting in Washington. ICE's 25 Enforcement Removal Operations, or ERO, field office directors and 25 Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI, special agents in charge flew into Washington and descended on the agency's headquarters last Tuesday, May 20th. They were met by Stephen Miller. ICE confirmed to the Washington Examiner. Miller came in and eviscerated everyone. You guys aren't doing a good job. You're horrible leaders. He just ripped into everybody. He had nothing positive to say about anybody. Shot morale down, said the first official who spoke with those in the room that day. I just want to say thanks, Steve. Thank you. Sometimes the truth makes people uncomfortable, right? Like, sometimes calling people out on something that they haven't done, which they said that they would do, is going to ruffle a few feathers. Sometimes it needs to be done regardless. And I think in this situation, I'm on Stephen Miller's side. They say, Stephen Miller wants everybody arrested. Why aren't you at Home Depot? Why aren't you at 7-Eleven? God bless that man. God bless him. Honestly, like, they're going to act like Stephen Miller's doing something wrong here. I'm like, yo, workplace raids. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Workplace raids it's a natural deterrent. You know what I mean? If you think that you're going to get raided at work, well, then you're not going to steal a job from an American citizen. So, yeah. Go to Home Depot. Go to 7-Eleven. Go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Do they still have Bed Bath & Beyond? Let's check. Let's check, and let's send them there, and let's find out. I don't care where they go. Come to Cumulus 10 Music Circle. Let's find out. Like, honestly, I don't think we have any illegal aliens working here, but I'm happy to let them look around. Let's do it everywhere. Let's do it everywhere. Looking at the restaurant industry, looking at the construction industry. We need to get these jobs back for American citizens. Oh, Stephen Miller, he eviscerated everyone. He wants us at Home Depot. He wants us at 7-Eleven. Yeah, we want you to do your job. Wants you to do your job. And again, I respect ICE. And I'm sure that they're overwhelmingly good men and women there. I think the people leaking this kind of information out aren't the people that are on the side of Stephen Miller and the Trump administration, if I'm just being truthful. Stephen Miller wants everybody arrested. That's why we love him. That's why we love him. That's why he's one of my faves. Go to Home Depot. Go to 7-Eleven. Yep, let's do it. One of the ERO officials in attendance stood up and stated that the Department of Homeland Security and the White House had publicly messaged about targeting criminal illegal immigrants, and therefore ICE was targeting them, and not the general illegal immigration population. Miller said, "What do you mean you're going after criminals?" Miller got into a little bit of a pissing contest. That's what Tom Homan says every time he's on TV. "We're going after criminals," the ICE official told Miller, according to the first official. Later, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem came in and addressed dozens of top ICE officials. "You guys are doing an okay job, but you're not doing enough. You need to do more." Again, I love ICE. I'm here for it, and I'm here for the greatest deportation effort in history. But I'm also here for our leaders saying we need to step it up. They're going to act like this is a bad thing, like, people aren't getting along, and, there's friction. No. This is a boss saying we need to do more. I'm here for it. Stephen Miller did not say many of the things you state, said Laszlo Bakse, ICE Deputy Assistant Director of Media Affairs. Bakse added that ICE arrested nearly 1,600 illegal aliens on Wednesday, May 28th, one of the highest days since Trump took office. Miller did not respond to a request for comment, but he confirmed publicly that he asked to triple the number of daily arrests of illegal immigrants. I think the goal that they want is right around 3,000 or 4,000 illegal aliens a day. It's been a while since I read the number, so I could be off a little bit. But I think the goal of the administration is 3,000 illegal alien arrests a day. We're not hitting that yet. Certainly not hitting that yet. So I have no problem with leadership coming in and saying we need to do more. They say under President Trump's leadership, we're looking to set a goal of a minimum of 3,000 arrests for ICE every day, and President Trump is going to keep pushing to get that number up higher each and every single day so we can get all of the Biden illegals that were flooded into our country for 4 years out of our country, Miller told Fox News' Sean Hannity. So this is where we're at. People are upset. Stephen Miller's calling them out. I just want to say thanks, Steve. Thank you. Finally, we're saying and we're hearing from the administration what we've been saying on the streets and the airwaves for a while. Like, it sounds great, and we really want you guys to do as much as you can, but what you're doing right now isn't going to cut it. It's just not. If you believe some of the estimates, that's 20 million illegal aliens came into the country under Joe Biden. Getting 1,500 every other day it's not going to fix our issues. It's simply not. And until we get it under control, we're going to see more repeats of what we saw in Boulder, Colorado over the weekend, unfortunately. And the Democrats are going to be protesting every step of the way. We've heard a lot of Democrats there. They're upset that ICE is wearing masks. Have you seen that? Ooh, ICE is wearing masks during their deportation efforts. Can you believe that? Why would they wear masks? They're scaring people. This is one of the Democrat talking points. They're scaring so many people what they're wearing masks. And I found this video of a deportation operation in New Jersey. And listen to how the general public is treating these ICE officials. And I say general public, but general public in a blue state, these unhinged lefty lunatics. Listen to how they treat ICE officials who are just trying to get an illegal alien off the street.
People start fighting back, then what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna shoot every American? When we start fighting back, what y'all gonna do?
This is an individual who ran up on an ICE raid, started filming the ICE officials who have masks on, and starts threatening them.
Shoot Americans then? Because that's what we're gonna start doing. We're gonna start fighting back. That's what we're gonna start doing, fighting back. Goddamn shame. All y'all should put a bullet in y'all heads.
Oh.
Doing Trump's work. Every single one of y'all put a bullet in your head. Yeah, I said it. What?
All right. Why would ICE officials have to wear masks? It's crazy. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, yesterday when he was doing the Operation Patriot press conference, he had actually left the podium. And he left the podium. Press conference was done, and a reporter asked a question about the ICE agents wearing masks. And he didn't hold back. He told them exactly why ICE agents are wearing masks, and it has a lot to do with what we just played for you in that last video.
I'm going to answer the mask question. So, no, not the mask, the mask. So, a lot of agencies were invited to come out 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles where we ran an operation where ICE officers were doxxed. So let's just say that again. People are out there taking photos of the names, their faces, and posting them online with death threats to their family and themselves. So I'm sorry if people are offended by them wearing masks, but I'm not going to let my officers and agents go out there and put their lives on the line and their family on the line because people don't like what immigration enforcement is. They are wearing those masks because we ran an operation with the Secret Service where we arrested someone that was going online, taking their photos, posting their families, their kids' Instagram, their kids' Facebooks, and targeting them. So let me ask, is that the issue here, that we're just upset about the masks? Or is anyone upset with the fact that ICE officers' families were labeled terrorist?
I'm a little bit upset with that. I'm a lot upset with that. These ICE agents are out there doing exactly what they need to be doing at these raids, and then they're being doxxed. It's crazy. It's crazy. They're being threatened. We need to give the ICE agents all the support that they need so that way we can get these numbers up. And we need to get the numbers up. We do. And I don't think it's rank and file that the issue is with. It's the people above them. And that's who Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem were addressing when they said, these are rookie numbers. We need to get these numbers up. So I'm here for it. And worksite raids are going to continue. They've actually been continuing in Texas. They had a few worksite raids that nailed quite a few illegal aliens at the University of Texas. This was in San Antonio. Breitbart has a story. United States Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement agents arrested several illegal aliens who were allegedly employed by a construction subcontractor performing work at the University of Texas, San Antonio main campus. The arrest took place during a warrant-based worksite raid carried out by ICE on Friday afternoon. We need to see more of this, and we need to amplify this. We need to let everybody know that if you're an illegal alien, no matter where you are, you could be getting got by ICE. Whether you're just working, or whether you're sneaking across the border, or whether you're moving drugs, you're going to be found. ICE issued a brief statement on their website about the University of Texas San Antonio worksite raid, saying on May 30th, ICE San Antonio conducted an enforcement action on the northwest side of San Antonio. This operation resulted in the arrest of several individuals who were in the United States unlawfully. No further details at this time. ICE did not provide any information concerning the number of illegal aliens arrested. UTSA officials confirmed a law enforcement action in a statement issued shortly after the warrants were served. The university provided the following limited information. We learned this afternoon that Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers were on campus today serving warrants on individuals who were working for a subcontractor on a main campus construction project. Per law enforcement protocol, UTSA PD provided perimeter control to ensure campus safety, was not involved in the arrests. No students, faculty, or staff were detained in this law enforcement action. Inquiries regarding today's actions should be directed to ICE. Well, listen, ICE needs to keep doing these raids. I pray that they are successful and fruitful, and we need to deliver the message that Tom Homan has been delivering over and over and over. If you think you're in a sanctuary city, you're not. There are no sanctuaries for public safety threats or national security threats. This was Tom Homan yesterday.
ICE was the only law enforcement agency that had a policy: you can't arrest somebody at a courthouse, you can't arrest somebody at a medical center, you can't arrest somebody at a church. And look, there's no sanctuary for a public safety threat or national security threat. So when we looked at that policy, it's like we're not going to raid schools, we're not going to go and raid a school, but we have an MS-13 member that's a senior in this high school, and we know he's there now. We've been looking for him. We'll work with local authorities to arrest that MS-13 member. Law enforcement does that every day, every other law enforcement agency. So we're no different, but there's no sanctuary for public safety threats and national security threats. But courthouses, look, I've been in courthouses many times, where I watched a father getting arrested in a courtroom for not paying child support. So why can't ICE go in a courthouse and arrest a significant public safety threat? It's the right thing to do. Take them off the streets and put. And look, if the local prosecutor, the state or federal prosecutor, wants to continue with the prosecution, they simply got to agree with us, take them back in custody, let us know when you're done with them. But there's no sanctuary for illegal aliens or a public safety threat in this country.
Amen. That's Tom Homan yesterday, and I hope that message gets spread far and wide. If you're here illegally, you're going to have to go home. It's 1021 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And if you're living with back pain, knee pain, nerve pain, have you ever thought about just not living with that pain anymore? And I'm not offering you drugs or surgery. I'm talking about the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They are changing lives with non-surgical, drug-free treatments that will target the root cause of your pain so you can forget those pills and you can skip that surgery because they specialize in non-surgical spinal decompression. It's a high-tech therapy that will actually heal your spine and your nerves naturally. So who's bringing this to the table? It's Dr. Mitchell. He's trained all over the globe, and Dr. Ashley, who's an expert in holistic healing and advanced chiropractic care. So no matter what you're dealing with, sciatica, neuropathy, herniated discs, these guys have real solutions for you, and you can get back to a pain-free life. Right now, for a limited time, they're offering that non-surgical spinal decompression for 47% off. It's the Big 47 offer in honor of our 47th president, so don't waste another day living in pain. Take advantage of that offer right now. 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. The sooner you call, the sooner you heal. Painisbad.com.
The Senate back on Capitol Hill and debating the budget and tax bill, and an update on negotiations for a Gaza peace deal. We'll have those stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming is producing, along with the new guy back there, Louie. He's working. He's hustling. We like Louie. We do. We're talking about deportation operations, ICE in your cities, why they're wearing masks. They're wearing masks for safety. But as I'm doing research last night, I came across the mayor of Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. Where's Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania, you might ask? It's actually right outside of Pittsburgh. And when I was hosting a morning show in Pittsburgh, I lived just a few blocks away. It's an awful, awful neighborhood in Pittsburgh. Just one of the most dangerous places that you can live. In fact, the locals affectionately refer to it as Wilkilliansburg. That's what they say, Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. So in a dangerous neighborhood where safety threats are aplenty, even without illegal immigration, you would think that your elected officials would want to limit the kind of danger and keep the community safer. That doesn't seem to be the case in Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. We've talked a lot about Freddie O'Connell and how he's getting probed, and I hope that he faces some justice. I got another mayor for their list when they get back. This is the mayor of Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania, Mayor Dante Comins, and he's on blast because he put out an urgent alert on Facebook to let the illegal aliens know that ICE was in the area. And KDKA in Pittsburgh, local CBS affiliate, they talked to him about it.
Wilkinsburg Mayor Dante Coleman posted about it on his Facebook page.
Everyone here is, we're family, we're Wilkinsburg, and we just want to protect each other. We have ordinances that protect everyone, no matter what part of life you're from.
What do you say to people who say you shouldn't be here illegally?
That's how this country started.
We're all on stolen land. Everybody's illegal. Everybody's illegal. I hate that one. I really do. Like, of all the cheesy, stupid answers, well, we're all on stolen land. It's so dumb. So dumb.
You got to start, it's all about getting that path to being a resident. And I feel like we need to help them.
Wilkinsburg Mayor.
Yeah, we need to help them. We need to help these child predators, these murderers, these rapists, these gang members, these terrorists. That's the mayor of Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. Again, one of the most dangerous places that you could live in all of Pennsylvania is Wilkinsburg. When I lived there, one of the big news stories that happened was there was a house party, and there was a bunch of people in the backyard, and some kid randomly just threw a firearm over and just opened fire on a party, killing like 8 people and like moms and kids. It's like, that's Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. Like, you should be focused on the problems in your city as opposed to stopping federal officials from eliminating some problems in your city. But that's where we're at. It's insane. This is the current state of the Democrat Party. Honestly, I don't know if he's a Democrat or not. It didn't say on his little chyron, but you can assume so. Washington Post, they're shocked about a mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures. They can't wrap their head around it. They have no idea what's going on. This is such a mystery. Fentanyl seizures, there's been a drop in it. What could it possibly be? We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 10:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A rather toasty weather forecast is coming up. With the Senate getting back to work, the big budget package passed by the House is now coming under scrutiny. The White House wants it passed on the president's desk by the 4th of July. ABC's Rachel Scott has more.
This bill barely passed the House. The president is keenly aware that it faces even more challenges now in the Senate. So he has been working the phones, personally reaching out to the holdouts who are concerned about the level of spending in this bill and also the changes to Medicaid. He also met with Senate Majority Leader John Thune here at the White House. Thune can only afford to lose 3 Republicans.
Now, on the conflict in Gaza, at least 27 people have passed away there, and that's because shots were fired into a crowd trying to get much-needed food and humanitarian supplies. The aid distribution site was run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the U.S. and Israeli-backed group that has already come under scrutiny for not handling distributions very well. Israeli officials say IDF soldiers fired into the crowd, but said they didn't target anyone specific. David Mintzer, a spokesman for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, went one step further than that, telling ABC News that Hamas was firing into the crowd. Mintzer also says that Hamas has not been cooperative in the negotiation process.
It is Hamas that is consistently walking away. The only time when Hamas is thrown a lifeline is when they see pro-Hamas media in the international media. That makes them stronger. But let's be frank, this war will be over when Hamas lay down their arms and our hostages are home. That, and not a moment before, is when this war will end.
Here in Middle Tennessee, a runner was injured Saturday in Madison after he was stabbed in an alleged unprovoked attack. According to court documents, the man was jogging near Maple Street and Bronner Avenue when he saw 32-year-old Timothy Castile standing at the intersection. As he got closer, Castile reportedly ran toward him and stabbed him in the neck for no reason. The victim told authorities there was no argument or conversation prior to the stabbing. Authorities said after the incident, Castile was captured on video running from the scene. The victim was taken to TriStar Skyline Medical Center for treatment, and upon his release from the hospital, he identified Castile as a suspect in a photo lineup. Castile has been charged with attempted homicide and booked into Metro Jail on a $150,000 bond. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Better Water LLC. We love these guys. Great sponsor of the show. And if you are tired of weird smells coming from your water, or like they're leaving stains on your clothes after you wash them, or just plain old bad tasting water at your house or your office, you need to talk to Better Water LLC. Think of what they can do for your home as like a giant Brita filter for your entire house, or they can scale it down to fit right under your sink, or they could do it for your whole business, and they handle everything. You could have some nasty stuff in your water: sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. And if you have it in there, they have a way to get it out. We're talking about reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights, water softeners. Better Water has you covered, and they'll test your water for free. Local company based right out of Smyrna, and they're already treating the water at your favorite local coffee shop and the hospitals around town. So stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give Better Water a call today. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or you can check them out online, betterwater.com. 1037, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can find me on True Social, Twitter, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Same handle for all of the platforms at Chris Hand on Air. Find me, hit follow, I appreciate it. And find us on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, watch the show. And if you miss anything, you want to go back, you want to listen to it again, you want to share it with a friend, they live forever on YouTube. So hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it when you do. So it's very mysterious. It's a very mysterious story. The Washington Post, they put out an article that said, the mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures on the U.S.-Mexico border. It's mysterious. How could this be happening? Well, they were relentlessly mocked for putting this headline out because we know exactly why it's happening. It's because we're enforcing the laws now, and we're not allowing individuals to just cross over with impunity. The article titled, The Mysterious Drop in Fentanyl Seizures on the U.S.-Mexico Border by the Post's Mexico and Central American correspondent Mary Beth Sheridan seeks to get to the bottom of the major drop-off in fentanyl seizures this year compared to last. Per Customs and Border Protection data she cites in her piece, monthly seizures in 2024 averaged about 1,700 pounds. In 2025, they're averaging 746 pounds. So what could be happening? The White House said, well, it's the Trump policies, knucklehead. Like, what do you mean what's happening? This is it's shocking. We're stunned. We don't know how to compute this. The White House says, the drop in fentanyl seizures at the border is only a mystery to Washington Post reporters suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Everyone else knows the simple truth. President Trump closed our border to illegal drug traffickers, and Americans are safer because of it. That was White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson in a statement to Breitbart News. It's actually, if you just used your eyes, you'd figure this out. It's not a mystery. It's not a mystery at all. The Washington Post, very confused. Still trying to figure out what happened and get to the bottom of it. The drop in fentanyl seizures has coincided with the substantial decline in illegal immigration as apprehensions along the U.S. southern border have dropped 95% from April 2024 compared to April 2025. And it just shows the strength of Trump's policies. That's what's happening. It's not a mystery. It's clear as day. It's all, and this can be true on the other side, too. It's also clear as day why we were having the problems we were having under Joe Biden. Because he ignored the policies that worked. It's clear as day. Tom Homan was talking about the Biden administration and their process of how they were bringing in unvetted people, handing out work visas like candy. Tom Homan, I think the nicest way to put this would be not impressed with how the Biden administration handled the border.
And I've said over and over again, what scares me about the southern border, the sex trafficking, right? Sky high. The Americans dying from fentanyl. The people, all the drugs coming across, all the sex trafficking, all the smuggling. And I said what concerned me the most was they created the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. Not only did 2 million known gotaways, 2 million people cross the border, we don't know who they are, where they came from, we don't know where they are now. On top of that, even through the legal process, the Biden administration were bringing people unvetted, handing out work visas like they're candy while they sat here and planned something bad. We are going to be dealing with this for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad reality, and we were dealing with it over the weekend in Boulder, Colorado. We had an individual who overstayed his visa, should have been sent home, wasn't, apparently claimed asylum of some sort, and the Biden administration gave him a work visa like candy. We're learning more about Mohammed Sabri Solomon. This guy is not a good guy. He's the individual that threw the Molotov cocktails at the Jewish protesters. I wouldn't even call it a protest. They were just marching, saying "Free the hostage." It wasn't a political message really on either side. They were just marching in solidarity for hostages. So I mean, I guess it is political, but not really. Compared to some of the protests and how political they get. But He bought flowers and disguised himself as a gardener in an orange vest so he could get as close as possible to members of that Jewish group in Boulder, Colorado, before attacking them with Molotov cocktails. This is from the Wall Street Journal. They say on his back, Solomon wore a commercial-grade weed sprayer full of gasoline that he intended to use as a makeshift blowtorch to burn himself to death. He brought 18 homemade Molotov cocktails with him, but threw just 2 of them because he got scared. Solomon told investigators he concealed his plan from his wife and 5 children. I would want to get to the bottom of that and find out how much the family knew, to be perfectly honest with you. And if they're not aligned with the values of the American society, the American culture, then they need to go home as well. Clearly, the guy that was the head of your household was a lunatic, so you need to be looked at. You just do. Your dad's going to go throw Molotov cocktails at Jewish protesters? Yeah, I think you deserve a look. And if you don't align with the American values, you got to go home. Fun fact, though, yesterday, you remember we played a clip from Jamie Raskin talking about what happened in Boulder, Colorado, and Jamie Raskin quickly jumped into gun control. That was his big thing. A terror attack by an individual with Molotov cocktails. Jamie Raskin decided to bring it to gun control for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just, he went back to the default factory setting of what Democrats need to say on TV because he didn't have anything good to say. So he went back to the factory default and was like, oh, gun control is a good thing to talk about. But this was Jamie Raskin on MSNBC in the immediate aftermath of the Boulder, Colorado terror attack. And I'll tell you why this is significant after I play this clip.
Across the country, we are still in the midst of a gun violence epidemic. So we need to be acting with due concern for human life. This is why, of course, we have been fighting for a universal violent criminal background check. We are for a ban on military-style assault weapons in the country. Our lax gun laws are a danger to everybody.
Yeah, lax gun laws, danger to everybody. Let's say that in the aftermath of a man who committed a terrorist attack with Molotov cocktails. So, all right. I guess gun control, right? Again, he went back to the factory default programming and regurgitated classic Democrat talking points because he had nothing else to say. Nothing. But it gets funnier. And I don't know, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but it does. It gets funnier. While Jamie Raskin was talking about gun control and how we need stronger gun control laws, it's so weird. The acting U.S. attorney for the District of Colorado, a guy by the name of J. Bishop Gruel, he was talking about the terror attack yesterday during a press conference, and he said that the attacker actually went with Molotov cocktails because the gun laws in place prevented him from getting a firearm. Oh, well, that's weird.
Mr. Solomon stated that he had been planning this attack for a year. And he acted because he hated what he called the Zionist group. But what the charges allege that he did was to throw Molotov cocktails at a group of men and women, some of them in their late 80s, burning them.
Monster.
As they peacefully walked on a Sunday to draw attention to Israeli hostages held in Gaza. And when he was interviewed about the attack, he said he wanted them all to die. He had no regrets, and he would go back and do it again. He said that he had previously tried to purchase a firearm, but resorted to the Molotov cocktails when he could not purchase a gun because he was not a legal citizen.
Oh. So Jamie Raskin, in the immediate aftermath of the Boulder, Colorado terror attack, goes on TV in an attack where firearms weren't used and says, we need tougher gun laws. What we need is we need to make sure that this epidemic of gun violence doesn't continue. And then what we learned from the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Colorado is that monster, Mohammed Solomon, actually wanted to use a gun, but the gun laws in place were sufficient enough to prevent him from getting one. Isn't that weird? What a coincidence.
Purchase a gun because he was not a legal citizen.
He was not a legal citizen. He couldn't get the gun. Oh, so what you're telling me is if we just enforce the laws on the books, then things work out the right way. Huh. Maybe had the Biden administration enforced the laws on the books with Mohammed Solomon, we wouldn't be talking about this terror attack today. Huh. Maybe I'm up the conspiracy tree, and I'm off on a tangent. Maybe I'm looking too much into this. But I just found that, I was infuriated yesterday. Jamie Raskin, you idiot. You're going to go on TV and you're going to be like, oh, this is a terror attack where a dude used Molotov cocktails really highlights the need for gun control. And then we find out, like just a day later, he tried to get a gun, but he couldn't because of the laws and the background checks.
Did not purchase a gun because he was not a legal citizen.
Ah, weird. No retraction from Jamie Raskin yet. I wouldn't hold your breath. And mind you, also, during all of this, the FBI was calling it a terror attack, as it rightly was, right? Obviously, you're a lunatic attacking protesters with a Molotov cocktail, like violence for political means, right? Terrorism, 101, that's the definition. CNN actually went on the air and they called the FBI juvenile for calling the Boulder terror attack a terror attack. And this, I just don't understand. Are you really that dumb? Are you really that dumb? Or are you gaslighting the American people? It can't be both. One has to be true. But this is CNN yesterday, and they said this is in the immediate aftermath of the terror attack. And they have Andy McCabe on, disgraced Russiagate Andy McCabe. And CNN's Juliet Kayyem claims the FBI looks juvenile for calling this a terror attack.
The chief comes out and says, we don't have 2 + 2 = 4 yet. In other words, this is obviously an anti-Semitic attack and the victims were obviously part of that group. Therefore, we're not calling it terrorism. It adds a lot of it's not good for the community. It's not good for the potentially targeted community. It makes law enforcement look disorganized, and it makes the FBI look so juvenile.
The FBI looks juvenile for calling a terror attack a terror attack. Huh. That's interesting. I thought it just like competent. I honestly didn't even think much of it. I thought more about the police chief who was like, I'm not going to call it a terror attack just yet. When a Muslim man attacks Jewish protesters with Molotov cocktails. Let's not jump to conclusions, friends. Let's take a deep breath. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, he explained why the FBI immediately said they were investigating the Boulder, Colorado attack as terrorism before local police did. And I quote, "We are the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We are not the Federal Bureau of Word Games." Appreciate it. It's 10:51. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be... For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Well, a major Middle Tennessee employer has announced the date of its shutdown and changes to TikTok on the way. We'll tell you about these stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And we know how much you love TikTok, Ken Weaver.
Oh, I love that TikTok.
He can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I get lots of recipes.
People have to go talk to him in between newscasts and say, Ken, stop with the TikTok. He says just one more. It happens all the time.
I caught myself the other day. I'd been scrolling for 23 minutes on it.
What?
I was just one after the other.
You were in a doom scroll.
Yeah, I was. And I was, all right. It's like I had to slap myself.
All right, well, I'm local in Murfreesboro if you ever need me to come over and help you take that phone away.
Chris, save me, bro.
All right. Hey, we got a couple events on the way that I definitely want to highlight for you. Celebration of Life and Truth. That's happening at Barfield Crescent Park in Murfreesboro with Pro-Life Rutherford, or Right to Life Rutherford. It's going to be a really fun event. We're celebrating the advancements that we've made in the pro-life movement, but we're also going to talk about a lot of work that needs to be done. I'm going to be there. We're going to have some friends from Turning Point USA there. We're going to have Paul Vaughn, who's a pro-life advocate that was pardoned by Donald Trump. He's going to be there. Brad Turner, Commissioner of Tennessee's Department of Disability and Aging. He's going to be there as well. That's happening Saturday, June 7th. 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Right there in Murfreesboro, Barfield Crescent Park. Whole family's invited. There's going to be food. There's going to be fun. There's going to be music. And I'll be there. So join us out there in Murfreesboro. You are invited. And the other event that we have happening, it's going to be here before we know it, the big Super Talk Mid-Year Review. That's happening on June 17th, just 10 days later. Super Talk 99.7 is hosting an evening at King's Dining and Entertainment at Cool Springs. We are going to talk about the first 6 months of the Trump presidency. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of wins and definitely some losses and definitely some things that could be better than they are. We talked a lot about the mass deportations. Stephen Miller's not exactly happy about the numbers that they've gotten to for deportations. We feel the same way. A lot of us do. And this is the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about June 17th for our mid-year review. That evening is free, completely free. So is the pro-life, the Right to Life Rutherford event. Completely free. But June 17th, King's Dining and Entertainment, Cool Springs, evening of fun, food, drinks, and games. Murphy's going to do his whole show there live starting at 3 o'clock. And then the entire crew is going to be there. We'll shut the place down and stay late, hang out with you guys. That's free. Come out and join us. So just to reiterate, June 7th, we have Barfield Crescent Park in Murfreesboro with Tennessee Right to Life. That's going to be a fun event. And then June 17th, King's Dining and Entertainment, Cool Springs, mid-year review with the entire Super Talk crew. Both events free to attend. We want to see you at both of them. On the way, I got a lot more on this Boulder, Colorado case. We talked about Jamie Raskin. He pivoted to gun control, and then we found out that actually the laws in place prevented that terrorist from obtaining a firearm. Who would have thunk it? You enforce the laws on the books and things work. Carolyn Levitt had a lot to say about the Biden administration and how they let this guy stay in America. I'll bring you that when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, we now have a date for a major employer who's going to shut down operations here in Middle Tennessee this summer. Hundreds of jobs going away in Laverne. Bridgestone America's tire operation says it's going to shut down July 31st. A media release from the Bridgestone said the decision to close the facility was due to a need to operate more efficiently and strengthen its competitiveness. This will affect 658 employees. And 9 days after he donned a makeshift guard's uniform and walked out of an Arkansas state prison, convicted killer Grant Hardin is still on the run. ABC's Jim Ryan says an FBI tips line has been buzzing.
Law enforcers at every level have been using dogs, drones, horses, and helicopters to search for the former law enforcer convicted of raping a woman in 1997 and killing a man in 2017. Despite tips and sightings of Grant Hardin in surrounding states,
until we get verifiable evidence that he is not in the area anymore, we have to assume that he's still in the area.
The Arkansas Prison System's Rand Champion says the reward for information leading to Hardin's arrest has grown to $25,000.
There are changes coming to TikTok today that will allow users to customize their experience on the platform and block the things they do not want to see. We get more from ABC's Stephanie Ramos on one change called Managed Topics.
Now you can personalize your feed by adjusting how often you see content from over 10 popular categories like travel, sports, and creative arts, or cinnamon tortilla rolls. We'll see. For example, if you want more nature, less sports, no problem. With Managed Topics, you control how often popular topics show up in your feed.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, a man was injured when he was shot by an officer in Columbia early this morning. According to a press release, officers were called to the area after getting a report of a suspicious man walking in the roadway trying to approach passing vehicles. Arriving officers found the man in the roadway, and he had a handgun. They reportedly tried to make him stop and drop his weapon for about 10 minutes before police stated he continued to walk southbound. And according to the press release, the man was shot by a Columbia officer in order to stop the advancement and threat. The shooting victim was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he was taken into surgery. His condition not immediately released. No officers were injured in that incident. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So I was looking at Twitter during the break, and people are taking umbrage with what things I have to say. It's always uncomfortable when individuals take umbrage, but here we are. Do you know who Michael Black is? Anybody heard of Michael Black?
I have not. So,
have you heard of Remnant Church, Gwen Shamblin?
Remnant Church, I believe I have heard.
Okay, so Remnant Church, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not like too familiar with the backstory of Remnant Church. I saw an HBO documentary where they basically classified it as a cult.
Was that the one here in Brentwood?
Yep, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
So Mike is the son of the leader of Remnant Church, Gwen Shamblin, or former leader of the church. Gwen, she's passed away, Gwen Shamblin. So he listens to the show, and when we've talked a few times, and I like Mike. I think he's a good guy. Mm-hmm. But he sent me a tweet, and I just felt like I'll read it to you guys on the air. Chris Hand on air, just casually chilling, said on 99.7 WTN, they need to get those numbers up, referring to the number of people being arrested and deported in ICE raids. 1,500 people every day isn't enough. Damn. Do you people realize how this sounds on the other side of the radio? And talking about how it's totally great that these people doing the arresting are all wearing masks, bursting into homes and anywhere like secret police units. He's clearly championing what Stephen Miller has been dishing out to White House Trump administration officials. Chris Hand sounded slightly uncomfortable, awkward saying it. But this is how major human rights abuses and situations get started. Don't you see how this is such a freedom-taking... Excuse me, sorry, choking. Don't you see how this is such a freedom-taking way to operate? People who are in the U.S., like refugees, or people just wanting to come to this country, or even minority groups, are possibly freaking out, terrified. This is so close to being like a Nazi regime kind of thing. I said completely disagree with your take. Completely disagree. When you have upwards of 20 million illegal aliens, human traffickers, child sex traffickers, gang members, murderers, rapists, child rapists, yep, they need to get the numbers up. And I don't care who knows it. Mike, you can call into the show. You're more than welcome to, and we can have a conversation about it. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. But no, bro, you have to get the numbers up. You have to. You have to. And if you're angry at me for saying that, be angry at the Biden administration for letting in upwards of 20 million illegal aliens. That wasn't my decision. It wasn't my decision to have the Biden administration sue Arizona so that way they would take down the shipping container wall. It wasn't my call. It wasn't my call for the Biden administration to sue Texas to have the razor wire removed from Eagle Pass. It wasn't my call when the Biden administration sued Texas to have the floating buoys in the Rio Grande removed. Now, if they didn't do any of that and had they sat on their hands and just let the Trump policies that were, spoiler alert, working, stay in effect, we wouldn't be having these conversations today. Any anger that you have towards me, you should direct immediately at the Biden administration. I have nothing to do with it. All I want to do is have a safe country that my kids and one day grandkids can live in. Currently, the way it stands, it's an absolute mess. And I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, we gotta make sure we're getting all the right people, and we got to do everything. No, we're dealing with child rapists and human traffickers and drug traffickers. No, we have to be heavy-handed here. We have to. And yeah, I'm okay with the guys wearing masks. I'm okay with ICE agents wearing masks. You want to know why I'm okay with ICE agents wearing masks? Because there was story after story after story of the cartels putting green lights on ICE agents and Border Patrol agents. Shoot on sight. You're good. Go for it. You understand how the cartels work, right? Like it's all military leadership. You have to get approval from your higher ups before you do anything. Green light down the chain. They have a green light. You have to protect these guys. And then you have the leftist activists who are doxing individuals they're just doing their job, getting these rapists and murderers and gang members and drug traffickers and human traffickers off the street, doxing them and their family. So you have an issue with the mask, but no tweet about the leftists who are doxing the ICE agents. No tweet. That's fine. Maybe the media's not talking about it, so you don't know. But that's where we're at. Dan Goldman doubled down on the statements that he made about ICE agents wearing masks and calling it evil. This is Dan Goldman earlier today.
And I asked them, I said to them, what are you what is the point here? Are you just trying to tally more arrests? I didn't get any real response. And then I said to them, why are you wearing masks? I was a federal prosecutor for 10 years. I worked with ICE agents. I worked with law enforcement agents. I never saw any of them wear masks. This is brand new. And the question is, if everything is legitimate and proper, why are you wearing masks to hide your face?
Oh, it's all brand new. Yeah, you know what else is brand new? Rabid leftists doxing ICE agents. You know what else is brand new? The whole narrative around deportations. We had no leftists doing anything like this during Obama when he was deporter-in-chief. Nothing. It's all brand new. Gee whiz. What's going on? What's going on, guys? Why are you wearing masks? Again, the acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, he highlighted it perfectly. He said, we're wearing masks because our agents are having their lives threatened. I played a clip earlier of an individual, this was in New Jersey, where this guy, he's chasing around ICE agents while they're trying to do a deportation raid. And he's yelling at them like a lunatic, threatening them, telling them that they should put bullets in their own head, and that he is and individuals in the area are going to start fighting back against these agents. Why would they wear masks when they're greeted so kindly on the streets by individuals like this?
What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna shoot every American? When we start fighting back, what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna shoot Americans then? Because that's what we gonna start doing. We're gonna start fighting back. That's what we're going to start doing, fighting back. Goddamn shame, all y'all should put a bullet in y'all heads. Doing Trump's work, every single one of y'all put a bullet in your head. Yeah, I said it, what?
Yeah, I said it, what? Yeah, so these are the kind of individuals that they're dealing with in public, and then they're dealing with individuals online who are posting their photos and their family's photos and their kids' Instagram pages. Like, why on earth would they wear a mask? Oh, if you have nothing to fear, then why are you hiding your face? Because of you lunatics on the left. That's why. Again, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons laid this all out yesterday. As the press conference was closing, he came back to the podium to answer this question.
So, no, not the mask, the mask. So a lot of agencies were invited to come out 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles where we ran an operation where ICE officers were doxxed. So let's just say that again. People are out there taking photos of the names, their faces, and posting them online with death threats to their family and themselves. So I'm sorry if people are offended by them wearing masks, but I'm not going to let my officers and agents go out there and put their lives on the line and their family on the line because people don't like what immigration enforcement is. They are wearing those masks because we ran an operation with the Secret Service where we arrested someone that was going online, taking their photos, posting their families, their kids' Instagram, their kids' Facebooks, and targeting them. So let me ask, is that the issue here, that we're just upset about the masks? Or is anyone upset with the fact that ICE officers' families were labeled terrorist?
Yeah, I mean, and I would pose that question back to Michael Black. You're upset about the masks? Are you also outraged about the death threats to ICE agents' families? Are you? I mean, if you're outraged about ICE wearing masks, I'm seeing a bunch of texts on the text line. You guys are absolutely right. Are you also equally as outraged about Antifa wearing masks? Are you? They do. I don't hear that outrage. This is just, it's all so tiresome. It's just, and I'll be honest with you, Mike, if you're still listening, I don't even know which political side of the aisle Mike is on. At times he's agreed with me. At times he disagreed with me. I think he's a decent enough guy. I think your take was ice cold. Do you know how this sounds? Okay, are we doing the optics thing? Is that we're worried about optics? I tend to think optics be damned. Optics be damned. Do what needs to be done. And get those numbers up. We got to get those numbers up. So that's what I was dealing with during the commercial break, and we need to do more. Now, Carolyn Levitt was talking about the Boulder, Colorado attack, and again, like I said, you're angry at our deportation operations. What you really need to be angry at is Joe Biden and his administration because they let these individuals in and then they let these individuals stay. She was making this point when it came to the Boulder, Colorado terror suspect.
What's the White House's perspective on this?
Well, FBI Director Kash Patel is absolutely right. And the president just put out a very strong statement condemning this attack. This terrorist came into our country under the previous administration. Joe Biden's administration foolishly gave him a tourist visa and that allowed him to unlawfully remain in our country. This individual should have been deported. Instead, he was welcomed here. And now, 3 years later, after coming to this country under Joe Biden's administration, he is lighting Jewish people on fire who were simply trying to peacefully pay respect to the hostages in Israel. This absolutely is an act of targeted terrorism. The FBI and the Department of Justice are investigating it as such, and the president is going to ensure that this individual is held to the fullest extent of the law. And not just this individual, but any individual, especially illegal criminals who engage in acts of terrorism, will be held accountable under this president.
But please don't hold them accountable while wearing a mask because it's scary. Please hold them accountable and show your face. Is that what the left wants? Again, all of the anger that you have towards Trump's ICE and immigrations and customs and border patrol, all of the anger that the left has towards them, they need to direct right back at the Biden administration. We wouldn't have to do any of this had they just sat on their hands. That's it. But they didn't. They didn't sit on their hands. They rolled out a welcome mat. And I don't know. I feel like we're going to see more of this stuff, and we're definitely going to see more of this stuff if we're worried about the optics. I mean, 2 million known gotaways. 2 million. How many? How many were evil? How many were terrorists? This guy just overstayed his visa. Or should we not be going after people that are overstaying their visas because of the optics? No. I think we need to go after everybody. Carolyn Levitt yesterday was asked about sleeper cells in the country and what that looks like, and she didn't hold back.
In the administration, that there could possibly be some sleeper cells here in the United States. What type of pattern is the administration looking at as far as terrorist cells?
Well, there's certainly a concern that the previous administration allowed way too many terrorists and illegal immigrants into the interior of our country. And that's why the Department of Homeland Security is working overtime to arrest, detain, and deport as many illegal criminals and terrorists that we can in the United States of America. And any act of violence will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, let's hope so. And let's hope that we get these numbers up. Again, I don't think that that's a callous thing to say at all. It's not. The old saying. I'm not locking my doors because I'm fearful. I'm locking my doors because I love what's inside. Like, I think we need to go even further. But that's just me. But Joe Biden allowed these individuals in here, and Joe wasn't all there. The Democrats allowed all these individuals in. They were fine with it. Totally cool. No problem. And it was these reckless policies that led to where we're at now. And you're going to be mad at ICE officials. And you're going to be mad at Trump. This problem was solved, man. What is it? What are they asking for in the new border bill? It's like $12.5 billion in the new big, beautiful bill. It's like $12.5 billion for border security. I'm old enough to remember that Congress thought $8 billion was too much for the wall, right? And then they spent billions upon billions housing and feeding all the illegal aliens that Biden welcomed in. It's just this insanity needs to end. They're mad at Trump. They're very mad at Trump. But Ted Cruz put it as succinctly as you can. He said apparently what Democrats think America need more of is illegal aliens and gang members and terrorists, because that's the argument that the Democrats are currently making.
Will Congress make a change to this visa system? I mean, this is going back 26 years, what the 9/11 Commission warned about.
Look, there's no doubt we need to. Here's the sad reality. Democrats will filibuster any effort to bring sanity to securing our border. I'll tell you, during the entire Biden presidency, the open borders we had, Alejandro Mayorkas was impeached for willfully defying federal law, and every single Senate Democrat voted to dismiss the claim. They didn't even want to hear one whit of evidence. Of all of the victories we've seen in the first 5 months of the Trump presidency, none is more important than the victories securing the border. We have seen almost from the moment President Trump put his hand on the Bible, we've seen illegal crossings drop over 99%. And I'll tell you, in this big, beautiful bill, we're going to provide funding to build the wall, to hire more agents and ICE agents in detention facilities. But the Democrats continue just to embrace open borders. And apparently what they think America needs is more illegal immigrants, more gang members, more murderers, rapists, and more terrorists like this lunatic in Boulder, Colorado. Yes.
And they don't want you going after them if you're going to wear a mask. It's too scary. It's 11:21. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is June. You know what that means? Well, it's going to be 90 degrees today. Have you gotten your system serviced the right way, the Busy Bee way? Well, you should. This summer, they're turning up the heat and the rewards. If you purchase a new AC unit in June, you'll be entered to win a free 3-day beach getaway. That's right. They'll handle the vacation, gas, lodging, 2 meals a day, all on Busy Bee. Winner's going to get announced live on Facebook, so if you need an AC, call Busy Bee. And while you're keeping cool, think about these hot June specials. Free package upgrade on air duct cleaning, $500 off select tankless or upright water heaters, 15% off whole home drain repipes, and just $99 for a full drain video inspection. And don't forget the Beehive Club, now just 2 years for the price of one. $99 will cover you for this year and next. For satisfaction guaranteed, it's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
All right, drivers, we've got a stalled semi blocking the off-ramp right lane from 24 westbound to go westbound on 40. It is stop and go starting at Briley Parkway. A major employer in Middle Tennessee has announced its closure date. We'll tell you about that story and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, and the show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Find us on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, jump in the chat, or jump on the phone lines or the text line, 615-737-9986. Your phone calls are always welcome. As my friend Matt Murphy likes to say, let's turn a monologue into a dialogue, 615-737-9986. So a lot of people have ideas on what they want to do when it comes to the rise in anti-Semitic attacks. And there's a New York City mayoral candidate, Scott Stringer. And he's got an idea, and his idea is about thought crime. It's just, here we go. Scott Stringer proposes social media surveillance to predict and prevent anti-Semitic attacks. So Scott Stringer's former New York City comptroller, current mayoral candidate, and he announced a plan on Saturday that is his way to combat anti-Semitism, and it would be using technology that would predict and prevent events and attacks before they even happen. Sounds a little spooky. Sounds a lot like thought crime, and I don't think more surveillance is needed, especially in New York City. New York City is one of the most surveilled cities. It's the most surveilled city, right? Is it New York or Las Vegas? It's one of the two most surveilled cities in America. And this guy is speaking to members of the congregation of Kaliath Jeshurun Synagogue on Manhattan's Upper East Side, and he outlines this initiative that would involve partnering with the ADL and employing advanced technology to track social media activity, particularly during international emergencies involving Israel or Jewish institutions. I'm not for this. I'm not for more surveillance at all. I'm for less surveillance. I'm for no surveillance. That's a pipe dream at this point in 2025 in America. But more surveillance? No, I don't think we do. But they say the ADL has developed what it describes as its first of its kind interactive and customizable map known as the heat map, which allows users to examine specific incidents of hate, extremism, anti-Semitism, and terrorism, both by state and nationwide, and it would flag content that incites violence or signals coordinated threats. It would provide the tools for law enforcement, community leaders, and institutions like this one to act before tragedy strikes. I don't know if this kind of stuff is going to actually stop what they think it's going to stop. I just don't. What this kind of stuff would do was it would force you to hide crazy, right? My uncle always used to say, I want my Nazis wearing armbands. That's what I want. That way we know who they are. If people think that their speech is being policed online, they're going to hide those feelings. They're not going to stop the plans. They're going to make it harder to notice. I think this is a terrible idea. I don't know much about this guy, Scott Stringer, but horrible mayoral candidate. Let's stick with Eric Adams. Is it bad when I'm looking at this guy? I'm like, Eric Adams is a much better choice. Much better. We got more on the way. Hang out with us. 11:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, a major employer has announced it's shutting down next month. Bridgestone America's Tires announced back in January they'd be closing down the plant in Laverne this summer. Today, we've learned that day is July 31st. 658 people will lose their jobs. The company says the closures to increase efficiency and make it more competitive. Here in Nashville, West Nile virus has returned. The Metro Public Health Department says notices are going to be mailed out to people who live in the area of Gallatin Pike North. Those notices will have information to prevent getting West Nile virus, which is spread by mosquitoes. During this Elder Abuse Awareness Month, the FBI is urging anyone with an older relative or friend to be on the lookout for scams. ABC's Jim Ryan says a case involving a 92-year-old Florida man who lost his life's saving provides a heartbreaking example.
A 92-year-old man involved in a long-distance romance with a woman paid her $800,000. Police say it wasn't a woman, but prison inmate Otis Swinton Jr. Florida State Prosecutor Whitney McKay.
These prisoners are sitting in groups with contraband cell phones, and they're calling our citizens.
Last year, the FBI took 23,000 reports of spoofing and phishing scams involving victims over 60. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
New developments in the fight against a disorder that affects the nervous system. ABC's Sherry Preston reports one day Parkinson's disease may be detected by the stroke of a pen.
Handwriting can be a good way to detect Parkinson's because it combines cognitive, perceptual, and fine motor skills into one action. Biomedical engineers created a self-powered pen with magnetic ink that can analyze handwriting, reflecting motor control and tracking coordination. AI models then were able to distinguish between those who had Parkinson's disease and those who didn't with 96% accuracy. Only a handful of patients tried the new pen for the research, and doctors say a lot more study is needed. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. And when it comes to home repairs, especially waterproofing, it's easy to ignore the warning signs, especially when it dries up. You're like, oh, the problem's gone away. Except it's only gone away until the next time it rains. And spoiler alert, we got more rain coming our way Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So your waterproofing issue is going to be a highlight of your focus again. That is, unless you call USS today. You see, USS has helped over 30,000 homeowners in Middle Tennessee and Kentucky with their foundation repair and their waterproofing. And when they show up, they're not sending a sales guy. They're sending an expert. They're not going to send somebody worried about their quota. They're going to send somebody that's worried about your home. So whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, USS is the company to call. They'll stand behind their work with warranties you can trust. Locally owned, 30 years in the game, and here for the long haul. So if you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. Online, USSTN.com. 1136, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system or a water softener, you go to betterwater.com. Love those guys. Why would you need a water filter? Like, people ask me that all the time. They say, why do I need a water filter? Betterwater.com. So I want to start a new thing where we'll start calling this last segment, before we kind of do the cross with Chad. We'll start calling it the lightning round. You want to call it the lightning round from now on?
I think that works for me, with like a cartoony lightning crash in the background.
Yes, like 70s game show.
I think that would kill.
And I think what we do is, like, we can either we'll do like a combo of both. Like, at the end of every show, I have just a random list of stories that I didn't get to for one reason or another. So I want to run through them as quickly as possible, and then we could also do a situation where, in this segment, we run through callers, and you guys can jump into the lightning round, and we'll do that. But something I've been cooking up behind the scenes. We got to do the lightning round. All right, so starting with the lightning round today, Tim Burchett officially filing legislation codifying 3 Trump executive orders. He says it's time to get off the dadgum bench and get into the game.
Hey everybody, Congressman Tim Burchett. Today I'm introducing legislation to codify 3 of President Trump's executive orders. I think it's time we get off the dadgum bench and get to work. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. So what is Tim going to be doing? He is going to be codifying 3 President Trump executive orders, at least introducing the legislation to codify them. The first being ending taxpayer funds for NPR and PBS. Yes, please. Thank you. The second, cracking down on gain-of-function research. Thank you. Yep. Don't need that. And the third, regulatory relief for domestic medicine production. It's time to get off the dadgum bench and get in the game. That is Tim Burchett. So I'm here for it. And thank you, sir. We'll like it. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but here's some audio to go with it. There's a new survey out talking about the mental health between conservatives and liberals, and you might be surprised to learn conservatives have a much higher score when it comes to mental health.
With conservative political views, 51 to 45% when it comes to excellent versus poor. Yeah. And I don't think the Democrats would have expected that.
I don't know, man. I didn't need a poll to know they were unwell. Just drive around and see someone wearing a mask in their car, and you know who they're voting for, and you know they're not okay.
Yeah, that's mental health. So conservatives have a 26-point lead on good mental health, excellent mental health versus the libs. Are you shocked about that? Are you stunned? No, of course. Of course you're not. One congresswoman in Illinois, she goes by the name Mary Miller, Republican congresswoman, is filing resolution declaring June Family Month instead of Pride Month. Thank you. Let's go. I don't need any more grooming Sesame Street Twitter images to try and force Pride Month down our throats. I don't need the Nashville Sounds game on Thursday to cram Pride Month down my throat, and I definitely don't need the Nashville Predators to cram it down my throat either. Yet they still seem to do it. They all seem to do it. Family Month. So Republican Illinois Congresswoman Mary Miller is introducing a resolution today declaring June as Family Month, a bid to reclaim the first month of summer from the LGBTQ ideology. Daily Wire was the first to report that. Hope it goes through. Shout out to Mary Miller for even having the stones to do so. Got another story here in the lightning round. New Jersey. New Jersey's a mess. They're removing Tesla chargers from the New Jersey Turnpike. And I can only assume that this is just a direct assault on Elon Musk because of his alignment with the president and Doge. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority has decided to part ways with Elon Musk's Tesla, ordering 64 superchargers to be removed from the highway connecting the northern and southern parts of New Jersey. The state is going to be replacing the Tesla supercharging stations with universal EV chargers from another vendor. Now, it's interesting, though, because I was under the impression that the Tesla supercharger is going to be the default supercharger for all of the electric vehicles moving forward. That way you're not going to run into a situation like we did with cell phones where every cell phone has a different charger. They're all going to be uniformed. Apparently, New Jersey's not waiting for that, or maybe I have the details on that incorrect. But This just feels like they are bitter individuals. NewJersey.com reports that the NJTA, the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, has chosen to use a sole third-party provider for its EV charging stations, resulting in the removal of 64 Tesla superchargers from the New Jersey Turnpike. The decision comes as NJTA opts not to renew its contract with Tesla, instead transitioning to universal open access EV chargers provided by Apple Green Electric. Tesla released a statement in response to this on social media, revealing that it had been preparing for this potential outcome for 3 years, and they've built 116 stalls nearby right off the New Jersey Turnpike to ensure uninterrupted service for its customers. The company expressed its willingness to invest in New Jersey Turnpike sites if the NJTA or Governor Phil Murphy, who's very famous for having an illegal alien living above his garage, or if Governor Phil Murphy would reverse the decision. They said, listen, we could even co-locate. It's not that this just has to be Tesla only. But New Jersey says, no, not only are we going to use a different charger, we're going to rip yours up out of the ground and remove them. Doesn't seem very cost efficient, yet here we are. The transition to Apple Green's electric universal chargers, compatible with all makes and models of electric vehicles, will begin on June 6th at 6 service stations along the Turnpike. Vince Lombardi, Woodrow Wilson, Richard Stockton, John Fenimore Cooper, Joyce Kilmer, Walt Waltman. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority is working with Apple Green to bring the universal chargers online at 3 additional locations as well to be operational in July. But Tesla, in its statement, highlighted the setback this decision poses for New Jersey's electric vehicle adoption goals, saying, didn't you guys want to be all electric, zero emission by 2035? And you're ripping out electric vehicle chargers? Would this happen with any other company if it wasn't Elon Musk and Tesla? Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful. This to me feels like Democrats who are angry at Elon Musk trying to hurt Tesla and his business. This is the equivalent of a radical leftist lunatic throwing a firebomb at a Tesla charger, except this is the democratically elected government of New Jersey just ripping them up out of the ground because they're spiteful. All these flavors, they had to choose salty. Here we are. Another story I wanted to get to in the newly named lightning round. Disney laying off hundreds of employees. Good. That's good. They're downsizing their entertainment division. Walt Disney Company enacted major layoffs on Monday, putting several hundred employees out of work while downsizing divisions of Disney Entertainment. Maybe you guys wouldn't have to do this if you didn't go full woke and then start going broke, yet here we are. According to the sources, the size of the cuts on the film and the TV side of Disney Entertainment is comparable. No teams are being fully eliminated. The majority of Disney Entertainment television staffers are based in L.A. The deadline will continue its coverage as more details about the impacted emerge during what is expected to be a tough day on the Disney campus. This is the 4th and the largest round of layoffs in the past 10 months that has affected various Disney television operations. They are a part of an ongoing cost-cutting process at the traditional media companies as they reshape their business to focus on streaming while facing economic headwinds. Disney's Bob Iger set the pace upon his return as CEO, establishing a goal of at least $7.5 billion in cost reductions at the start of 2023, with about 7,000 jobs eliminated that year. Do you ever watch Timcast IRL? Tim Pool had an interesting take on this, and he said, "Are we witnessing the AI takeover in real time? Are a lot of these jobs being eliminated because AI can do the job better than some of the employees?" That may be the case. The latest news marks another round of layoffs after Disney put close to 200 employees out of work in March following a major restructuring last October. Breitbart News reported earlier this year, Disney theme parks also struggling. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the man in the dress at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it, completely unrelated. But they've been struggling at the theme parks as well, and they had to fire some people there. But you have men in dresses inside the theme parks, and then you have the ticket prices. You have can people afford this? I don't have enough likes on YouTube to afford to take my kids to Disney World. Even if I did have the likes on YouTube, I wouldn't do it. We would go somewhere else. Dollywood sounds far more attractive, to be perfectly honest with you. But executives at the Walt Disney Company reportedly worried that soaring prices are alienating families from the theme parks, with internal surveys showing a decline in guests who are planning return visits to Walt Disney World and Disneyland, the report said. I also saw stuff where if you're in the theme parks, and this is just me reading, so I take it with a grain of salt, but they say, and I've seen it a couple places, but if you're in the theme parks, it's becoming way less families with young kids and way more like 20 to 30-year-old forever kids. You know, the libs who are not going to have children, are not having a family, are stuck in this nostalgia rat wheel. Those are the individuals going to Disneyland now. It's not mom, dad, a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old as much as it is a mom, dad, and the 20-year-old that still lives in the basement. Take it for what it's worth. It's just anecdotal stories that I've read on different online forums. But the price of attending a Disney park, I mean, gosh, for a family of 4, right? You're talking about $1,000 for a ticket for a 4-day stay in the park per ticket, $1,000. Typical price of a 4-day stay inside the park rose by $1,000 between 2019 and 2024, according to a new study conducted by the Wall Street Journal. Vast majority of that increase, nearly 80%, comes from new charges for services that were once free. They're pricing people out. It's crazy. But it's Disney, so I say good. Sorry. I don't feel bad at all. And I think that just about does it for the lightning round. I like the lightning round. You like the lightning round? I feel like it was successful. We got to do this more.
I think that went pretty well.
I think it went pretty well. We need corny sound effects. We need lightning cracking, and we need like a 70s game show announcer to be lightning round. No, you don't like it?
Oh, sorry. Whoops, wrong one.
Oh, yes.
No, I think it's a great idea. I think that'll be fun.
That's the problem I have. All my ideas are great. It's tough. All right, we'll be back in a moment. We're going to check in with Chad Benson, see what he's got coming up on the Chad Benson Show today. Appreciate you hanging out, listening wherever you may be listening. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. Do it for my kids. Appreciate it when you do so. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Interesting. 11:53, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Chad Benson's in studio. What's up, Chad?
What's up? What are you up to, brother?
Not much. What are you focusing on today?
We got a lot of good stuff to focus on. Mostly, talk a little AI, as we always do. We'll talk a little bit about, we might talk a little bit about Colorado. Just watching everybody try to fit the narrative. And it's like, look, the dude's, like I was watching Mark Halper and he goes, I don't care if Fox is the only one covering it. Democrats, you guys are idiots. This is on you.
Honestly.
Yeah, this is on you. Well, he was here for parts of the time for Trump. And he was here for he got here 2022. He got an extended stay for a year. It ran out. And lo and behold,
the Biden administration gave him a work visa.
Well, and then he just disappeared.
Yeah. I got a tweet from a listener today. A guy I don't dislike the guy or anything like that, but I was talking about the deportation numbers. I was like, we got to get those up. These are rookie numbers, and you're looking at Boulder, like this is a direct result of the open border, and he's like, do you know how bad that sounds? He's like, you say that those are rookie numbers. We need to get those numbers up. I'm like, any anger you have towards me or the Trump administration or
is he angry because you said that Trump's not doing a good job, or that Trump is doing too much?
He's angry that I said we need to get the numbers up.
Okay,
like it sounds callous, and I said, don't be mad at me, be mad at Biden.
Yeah,
all he had to do was sit on his hands. You were there. He sued Arizona to remove the shipping container wall.
That's it.
He sued Texas to remove the buoys. He sued Texas to remove the...
thank you very much for getting rid of the shipping container wall, because I got a giant shipping container in my house for virtually nothing out there in Arizona still.
You were near the border in Arizona.
We were on the border. So we were, if you came out of because I lived in the Valley of the Dirt People, as I call it. So if you came out of our little area, and if you turned right, you head to the 10 freeway. If you turned left, you were about a half a mile to a mile to the Tohono O'odham tribe, to their land. And then within about 90 minutes or so, a little bit more than that, you were at the Sea of Cortez.
That's crazy. So you were seeing people cross
all
over
the time. Yeah, I'd be in line at Nico's, this amazing Mexican restaurant, like dive place that's just incredible, and you just see people come walking. You're like, they're not supposed to be here.
That's crazy.
And you'd also see a lot of people disappear too.
Did you have a lot of neighbors down there?
Oh yeah. Well, most of them are Border Patrol agents.
Okay, but have you talked to any of them? Has it just gotten completely quiet down there?
No, the border. Because two of my good buddies are border agents. They said the border is super quiet now. But the sneaking in is started like in a much different way. So this is where the gotaways are coming in. And they're willing to sacrifice a few so they can get many in. And in a place like there, which was the fentanyl capital, because there's no checkpoint, and they can operate on federal land, but they can't have roads and they can't have anything. So you've got hundreds of miles of virtual. So that's where the battle's coming in now.
And that's because of the Native American tribe that has the land.
Yeah. And then on the other side, in Mexico, because the Tohono O'odham tribe goes into Mexico as well, they're not fans of the tribe either. So it's real weird. But yeah, you see people wandering through all the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But has it sort of stopped at this point?
It is before, my buddy said the other day, it used to just be families. You see a lot of that, like a lot of, mom and two kids, stuff like that. He goes, it's different now. It's a lot of men, and they're not staying. They're bringing usually and bouncing. And so that's the issue that they're, he's worried about at this point in time.
In that area, is it more like tunnels?
No, it's wide open.
But no, I mean, like, how are they getting in?
They're just walking across. There's no border. There's nothing.
It's crazy.
So, because you've got some mountains and stuff, but there's not. I mean, it is crazy. Like, and I tell everybody, I lived in the Valley of the Dirt People. I mean, it was just, you would see people just wander through, like you go to a little store and then all of a sudden you see people just walking through and you're like.
I mean, that's got to be nerve wracking. You had young kids.
Yeah. But most of the people that come out, they're there for a reason. They're there. All their goal is to get down to the truck stop where they're usually getting picked up and bounce.
They're not hanging out.
Yeah, they're not hanging out. It was going the other way. And a lot of Native women disappear. That was a big deal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Just disappear completely?
Just disappear completely. In fact, if you go and look across the country, Native women just disappear everywhere.
Is that a symptom of the tribes, or is that a symptom of I think
they were easily trafficked because they figure nobody's going to pay attention to them.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, but it was, I would see... you'd see people all the time, a lot of young kids and stuff. And one of my good friends, he's a border agent. He'd tell me it's hard, man. It's a human being. You see these kids and they're, they've walked God knows how long, and these girls are like 10 and they're on birth control, and because that's part of what potentially may happen.
It's awful.
It's horrible. It's horrible. How bad do you think it has to be somewhere else that you would do that?
And Democrats are mad because we have ICE agents wearing masks.
What is that about? My God. Like
it's insane.
Like, okay.
And the cartels have put green lights on ICE agents and Border Patrol agents.
That is so stupid. Well, they're wearing masks, so they must be doing something wrong. Okay.
Yeah, just not wanting to get killed. That's something wrong.
They'd probably say the same thing about ninjas.
True.
What'd you talk about today?
We did the Biden investigation that's been opened into his use of the auto pen. Did a lot of Boulder, Colorado stuff. I was really Jamie Raskin calling for gun control on MSNBC in the immediate aftermath, and then they find out, he tried to get a gun, but he couldn't because the laws in place worked.
Yeah, but it's different because he should have now pest control.
Yeah, this is true.
Ah, look at that pest control, everybody.
We got to regulate those machines. It's unreal. Chad's in next. What are you kicking off the show with?
You know what? We're gonna have. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm not quite sure. Should we start with Tinder? What they're doing?
What's Tinder doing?
They got a height thing now where women can put the height they want. My question is simply this: do we get asked, do you want to wait one?
Oh.
Right.
She might be pushing $3 bills the way that selfie's angled.
Short king, huh? Short king, what are you going? Are you fully round? That's what I want to know, ladies.
There should be a height to weight ratio. Where, like, depending on your weight, you can there's a limit. Like, you're maxing out at about 5'9". I'm going to be honest with you.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly height to weight ratio. So we'll talk about that. Who knows what else to talk about? Crazy fun.
Chad's in next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.